It was timing. It was just a stroke of luck. I didn't put myself in that position, right? Like I did because I showed up. But I'm saying is, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna meet him at the gym, and hopefully something happens. No, it just freaking happens, yo. Like it just happens. Now it's up to you to capitalize on it, right?
There's something about momentum. Just get on the trail and start walking. Because then when you
Right.
start walking, things pop up, things arise. But if you don't just get on the trail and start your hike, then you never encounter anything.
Right.
So it's been pretty awesome. We're gearing up for our second event.
How you guys doing? I'm Bronson Becerra.
And I'm Christian White.
Welcome to Bronson and Christian Talk. Well, it's been kind of some time.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, like more like, yeah, it's been a while. But ultimately, man, so much has happened since our last podcast. I mean, a lot. Our Vantage Point, our landscaping business is doing good. VP Social, I'm not too sure if we've even talked about it on here.
I really don't think we have very much.
Yeah, so VP Social is something that we put together pretty much in the beginning of the year. We've actually been talking about it since last year around this time about putting it together. We didn't have the name yet, but Christian can do a better job explaining when he did the Newport Social Group. I don't know if you want to elaborate off that and how we can kind of segue in the VP Social.
Sure, yeah. So for those who don't know, I co-founded a social group in Newport Beach, and that was in late 2022. It was just total happenstance, and I think after COVID, with everybody being so cooped up and so sick of being in their own silo, whether that's remote work or the dating apps or whatever, people want to get out there and meet people. So what we ended up doing, myself and two others was we put on several social events kind of geared towards professionals. We put at times 2 a month. We did that for about a year and some change, and then I segued out of that and moved back to my hometown, which is Central California. And I had previously had at Bronson had having attended some of the things that we had put on, and I think there was some inspiration drawn from there, and getting back to the area here. I know I'm kind of feel like I'm talking slow or whatever. I just had I very rarely have any alcohol. I don't really drink alcohol unless I'm out and about. It's something social, but anyhow, so it was making me almost burp, I feel like. But so yeah, we when I first moved back to the area, he brought it. Hey, we got to put something on, and I was kind of triaging my next move and such, and he planted the seed, and so we pulled the trigger on it about a couple months ago, and
Right.
it has been a godsend. It's been a blessing because it's opened up doors, and there's something to be said about just even if you don't entirely know where you're going to go, how you're going to get there, there's something about momentum. Just get on the trail and start walking, because then when you
Right.
start walking, things pop up, things arise. But if you don't just get on the trail and start your hike, then you never encounter anything.
Right.
So it's been pretty awesome. We're gearing up for our second event, and I'll let him kind of talk about it.
Yeah, like it's saying goes like nothing changes if nothing changes, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, and so can't elevate yourself anywhere unless you actually go. Just go. Have a direction you want to go. It might have some bumps and sways along the way. Maybe take a step back sometimes, but just go forward. Just get that momentum going. And so with the VP Social, yeah, so entrepreneurs getting together, mingling, exchanging ideas in kind of a safe environment. Our goal is to have it quarterly, so every 3 to 4 months, depending. We'll have it at beautiful estates. We had it at a beautiful estate. Our good friend of ours, who actually is not only an investor but also our business partner now, Kristen, and it was such an amazing event. We just had so much great feedback. The news was there because we had a silent auction, and we had a raffle to help donate to the Booze family. We met the mom and dad, absolutely amazing people, really really sweet people. Unfortunately their daughter-in-law and son were struck with the tragedy of losing their home in the fires. And so we helped donate and rally together with all the with the other entrepreneurs. And it was just a really good time for a good cause, and it was really amazing. So we have another one coming up April 3rd. It's gonna be at Fairway Lounge, and I'm not a golfer, but I'm looking forward to hitting some balls. Um, you know, so it's gonna be fun, and then having drinks, and then of course mingling. The whole point is to mingle with other entrepreneurs, and just get some good information from people, good feedback, and then develop a good rapport with one another. And it could be potential business and potential business partners one day. Who knows? I've said it before on here. I met Christian, and then like a year later went to his New Year's party. Said we'll do business one day, and 2 years later it happened. You never know. You just plant the seed. You don't know what's going to happen. So that's kind of like with these events. It's mingling with people. Everybody's an entrepreneur there. You know what I mean? So if you're in doing landscaping, that for instance, we do landscaping. If we can run into brokers or people who do real estate or pretty much anybody that owns a home or has commercial property or whatever, goes hand in hand with what we can do for them, and vice versa. We're all helping each other out, and we can help grow with one another. And that's even we can create a good circle of people and a good foundation. Well, what's good about that? Then also when we go outside of the place and the event we're at, we'll just bring it to the outside to the rest of the people, and create a good society and good relationships with people. And I just think it's a great thing that we're doing. In all honesty, I met some really cool people. I've seen a lot of people that I knew, but I also met a lot of people I didn't know. And I really enjoyed it, and we had so many good feedback from it, such good feedback from it. So I was really happy with it. And I'm looking forward to this event coming up. We have we had like a little like video photo shoot thing we did today over at the lounge this morning. It went amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing what Josh can put together for us. So I'm pretty happy about it.
Yeah, it was it was a lot of fun, and it's kind of impromptu a bit. I mean, we were playing with a script because we wanted to be something that it has a high engagement rate and people
Right.
want to share it, and perhaps something comedic. But yeah, no, very pleased. Starting to see it all come together.
Yeah, it's yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward. Josh is great. He's our videographer, by the way. He's great. Um, but ultimately, yeah. So there's just been a lot of movement. There's been a lot of movement with business, and so me and Christian kind of been having to put this on hold for a second, but we're definitely gearing back, and eventually gonna start having guests now. We just thought we would just get the beat wet, come back, shoot a podcast, kind of let you guys know what's happening, and what to expect from us. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Um, but so yeah, man. So what's been new with you? I mean, look, to let you guys know, I feel like I'm married to this guy. I freaking talk to him every day, all day. What'd you have for lunch, bro? How'd you sleep, man? It's pretty personable. I mean, some of that I'm joking, but besides that, what else has been going on with you, man? Like, what else is like on the personal level? Is there anything I don't know? I feel like I know this dude so well. You know what I mean? So it's like, what else is going on in your life?
I feel like after basically 10 years of leaving college, it's been coming up in May. It'll be 10 years since I graduated from Fresno State, and I just feel like it's been like just delayed gratification, like no end, like just insane.
Right.
People may differ. They may see this stuff on social media and such and make it look like everything is like wonderful and blah blah blah. And I am very fortunate that I do have a great life. But as it relates to the challenges and a lot of behind the scenes stuff, yeah, there's been a lot of challenges. So I feel like I'm finally starting to see progress. I feel like I'm finally starting to see the fruits of my labor, both through the podcast, through the business. It's just been like a long ass journey.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I mean, me and Christian, we talk about this a lot. Things just take time, and sometimes you're like, is this even worth it? You invest a lot of time, we invest a lot of money, and you're like, okay, when is it gonna happen? And it's you can't get instant gratification. It's just not. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes you get blessed or lucky, right? But for the most part, just gotta let these things play out.
so that's something that I want to add to it. I know we have a mutual contact. He mentioned about luck not being a
Mm,
factor and like you creating luck. But, I was just watching a reel the other day about it was somebody talking about, for example, in Hollywood, and how he was saying how parents lie to their kids with this notion that, hey, if you work really hard and you keep showing up, you will be a success. And sometimes you could do that and still not be a success.
right.
And it sounds kind of sad because it's like we don't want to subscribe to that as a society, but
Right.
and what he was getting at was specifically in reference to Hollywood, for example, you have gatekeepers. And you might be training to be an actor or an actress or what musician or whatever. You might be the best in the world, but the gatekeeper, whoever that is, like, you know what? I like you. And it could be some arbitrary thing. It could be you just have a little something to you that they're just not really fond of, and they're just going to go with the other person. Like just totally arbitrary. And then that person maybe has been in music since breakfast or acting, and now they're winning an Academy Award or whatever. And that was the message that he communicated. And I couldn't agree more. How now I think in certain fields you have a lot more control over that. Like acting, like if you want to get into, and I don't have a background in entertainment, but I guess now I do. So we have a freaking podcast and media stuff going on. But I imagine that if you're trying to get into like A-list films and things of
Right.
that nature, you're going to have gatekeepers you have to deal with. And so you might be the best in the world, but you have to go through those people. But if you're, say, you have a landscape company, or let's say you have some other business, you don't have gatekeepers like that. I guess in a sense you do, like when you're calling a prospect and you have someone answer the phone, like an assistant, but
Right. Right.
it's a little different. So, but I think you increase your surface area of luck by marketing yourself on social media, putting yourself out there, and failing forward. And as a product of that, you'll be successful. But there is an element of luck. I know I went off on a tangent, but
No, no. I'll let you do your thing because I'm in agreement. Like, you can put yourself in a position where, yes, like you be persistent and consistent, it will pay off. But it depends on what. Like, if you're in Hollywood, that's tough. They have to like you. If they do not like you, you cannot pass go. It's very simple. The gatekeeper, you hit it on the head. So you might be amazing. That's why there's so many amazing singers and amazing athletes, but someone didn't like them just because of whatever random thing, and it's kind of sad. But same thing with social media. Sometimes these things just hit, right? Like one of our posts on our
yep, yep.
on our Bronson and Christian Talk, we had 5 million views on a random thing. There's like these mosquitoes or gnats. Some random post we did.
I'm gonna see how where we're at right now with it. By
Yeah,
the way,
and I was like, what the heck? How to get 5 million views and like 130 something thousand likes? I'm like, what the heck? Like, so sometimes that's just a stroke of luck, timing. One thing I do believe on 110% is timing, especially when it comes to,
so 7.4 million views,
dang, that's crazy. That's a lot of views.
138,435 likes. Shares, it's been shared over 115,000 times.
Off of just a post. And it's just crazy because it was just so like random. It wasn't even like there was not a lot of thought to it. It was just like, and you're like, what the heck? That's luck and timing, right? But I was saying timing's huge in relationships, right? I know this podcast isn't relationship podcast, right? But we do have people ask us, or there are things that I've gone through or he gone through that we just talk about and just kind of gets brought up, and I don't want to make it that focal point. Same thing with relationships with women. It is so time. You can meet the right person at the wrong time. That's like one of our biggest things. One of our most viewed ones is when I said that on one of our podcasts. It's so true. That person can be absolutely amazing and everything you want in wrong time. Breakup, divorce, separated. It's only been a couple months. They're not ready. It's just like, fuck. Why? And then you know what happens? This has happened. Man, this mosquito likes me. What happens is you end up. This happened to me a few times over the years. I'm not saying it's of recent, but it's over the years. You'll put some effort into someone, and they just got a relationship probably 3 or 4 months. You put effort into it, and they're like exactly, dude. This mosquito is just like loving me right now. They're exactly what they want, but it's the timing. It's just you were like that you were like the thrill that got him out of that hard time, you know, that you got him through the hard time, but then someone comes in and steals that because they're done with you. They've already, okay, thanks for helping me. I see this better thing now. You were just that thing to get them through that moment. And I've been that dude so many times where a girl's like, "Oh, you're a great dad. You have a great job. You have a beautiful home. You know you take care of yourself. Like, you're the perfect guy." Well, then what the fuck is wrong with me? Right? Nothing is wrong with me. It's timing and the women that I've chosen. This guy will definitely tell you. He's like,
Shall we open the book of Christian?
go ahead, man. Open the book of Christian.
Well, people have endless options today, and I think it was I don't know if it was Tate or his brother Tristan. Is it Tristan, the brother?
Yeah.
I mean, he brought up a great point. Now, some of the stuff that I'll preface to the audience. Some of the stuff he says out there, I don't agree with everything that he says, but he does make a lot of valid points. And one of the points that he does, on a side note, one of the points he made that I thought, well, this guy's spot on, was the respect thing. Men value respect more than anything, more than love, all that. I mean, that's so important as a man. But as it relates to, I'll use women for example. 20-year-old woman, 1950, or I'll just say pre-internet, girl,
right.
1950, 20 years old, a girl today, 20 years old, in 2025.
So different.
The one in 1950, she only has access to men in her physical proximity. There's no internet, there's no DMs, there's none of this stuff. And then now today, she's not only exposed to men in her physical proximity when she goes to the store, she's in college, blah, blah, but now it's people literally globally. Attention. And now coupled with a society where, and I'm not overtly religious, but whatever you subscribe to, religion has played a role and did play a role in society in such a way where that was really the glue, the fabric that brought people together, the nuclear family. Now today, it doesn't have the same role that it did, and because of that, we have the society that we have, where people are not really having kids these days, or they are postponing things later in life, or they're not getting married. We're seeing 45% of adults who are single. Yeah, I know he's laughing. By the way, I'm not opposed to marriage. I just think it's a very challenging.
As long as you have a contract for him.
Yeah, it is it's a very challenging environment today, and yeah.
Yeah, I do give him a hard time about that, but ultimately, he's not wrong. Like, it's very, very difficult now, because I know at some point that you were engaged and all that stuff. I never was. I was never that stupid. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I give him a hard time because, he's like, all right, pulls out this long list, right? And it goes all the way to the door. All right, check this off. There's a contract with Christian. You got to sign the dotted line. Got to sign the dotted line.
Did I really come across that way?
Hell yeah. When you tell.
With a contract?
Is yes or no? Yes or no? What? Like,
I don't know what he's saying.
It's a contract. It's a contract with Christian. It's a contract, man.
You're talking about marriage, yeah.
Yeah. Like, sign it.
Well, historically, marriage was a business arrangement. Historically, okay. Here, let me preface here. The way we live today as a society is atypical. This is not the norm. Most of humanity has not lived and operated the way we live today. The way we live today, the past 80 years, 90 years, is unlike any other time throughout history. Period. So many things are different. It's crazy. So, yeah, historically, you married somebody because there was economic or social access that it afforded or preserved. And today, people marry more or less more out of love and such. And then it was of course you had the aristocracy and such, people who owned lands, so on and so forth. You protected what you had by the marriage. Today, we don't have that. But I'm going off on a tangent here. But needless to say, it's it's just a different environment. It's challenging.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging, but yeah. So right now for me, I'm good, man. I'm just so mentally drained. Like I don't. I mean, I've been. He knows. Like I've really been focusing on just like the business, just like him. We've both been really landscaping, VP social. The VP social definitely took a lot out of us for the past like 30, 40 days. We were like every day was going really hard on that, and but ended up being a great success. So it was definitely worth it. And we're doing these each month. Each month, it's not going to be a VP social big, event. Obviously, we want big events, right? But it's going to be more towards helping out. So the Fairway Lounge here, uh, in North Fresno, we're in Clovis currently, but North Fresno, it's brand new. It's been open. How long has it been open for? Less
I
than two
have no
months, huh?
clue.
It
I have
hasn't been
no
open in a
clue.
long time at all. But it's amazing inside, and we want to shed some light on it, And if we can help a up and coming business, we're all over it because we're business owners too, so we know how it is. And so, VP Social is brand new, and this is how you can get together and with like minded individuals and grow with each other. You know what I mean? And see the fruits of your labor once you keep growing with one another, and you set a good foundation.
Well, something I want to add as it relates to the social stuff is my advice to people, no matter what you're doing, or especially if you have a business, and whether you just started or you've been in it for some time, is there's nothing like putting on something social in nature. Whether it's a dinner party, whether it's hey, let's go, you know, um, come over to my place, have some cocktails, so and so. When you're bringing people together, I mean, people love that, and it positions you as a leader, and especially if you have a business, it's a great way to put yourself out there. Now you marry that with media, you're able to capture those moments, memorialize it. You're able to get those moments, and you have absolute maximum leverage when you use media. Because look at this, I'll use this as an example. We spend an hour of our time, okay, doing this podcast more or less. We can then cut it up into a bunch of clips. Those clips can then be dispersed to and have the potential to hit millions and millions of people and
Right.
get our brand and our messaging out there.
Yep.
So,
And but it's like anything else. What we said earlier when we started, it takes time, and people are scared of time. I want it now. I want instant gratification. It doesn't work like that, as you know. Sometimes, if you're lucky, right place, right time, it can happen. But you can't bet on that. You just hit the ground running, work hard, and I feel like I was born in the '80s. I feel like the era is kind of like I got blessed with not growing up with YouTube outside riding my bikes, but I also got blessed where in high school is when I started seeing a lot of MySpace and stuff. So I got both best of both worlds. Where like if you're like mid '90s, you know what I mean, you kind of started like you start seeing more of the shit. Or if you're like with our parents, they didn't have nothing; they were just sticks and rocks, right? So I feel like when were you born? All right, so we might hop him into our area, but for the most part, it's like I feel like we're really hardworking and we're very savvy with technology. I think we're a really legit. I love my era. I'm not the baby boomers where they're like anti it, and it's so funny. Like my mom gets on social media and she's on that shit forever. She doesn't know how to like, she sends me 1,000 memes. So does my uncle. Shout out to my uncle. But he they show you so much stuff, and I noticed that I don't share hella stuff like that with people. Like sometimes I'll show you some funny stuff. Maybe one of these days he'll show you guys what I send him, and then we'll get banned. But yeah, and then or you're born in my son's era. My son Drake, he's 14, and that's all they know is social media. They don't know, especially Theses. I have an 8-year-old. He, I don't know what to do, Dad. I'm like, you have a big screen TV in your room. You have a TV in your brother's room. You have a TV downstairs. You have video games in your room. You have video games in Drake's room. Dad, there's nothing to eat. Son, there's all this food in the fridge and in the cupboard. I get so confused, but then I think about it, I'm like, this is all his little brain knows. You only know what you know. If you were born with nothing, that's what you know. If you're born with everything, that's what you know. So you can't really get on people for that, right? You only know what you know. You're like we've talked about, your hard, it's different than my hard, but it might be equally the same how we deal with it. And I think a lot of people get confused on that. And I was very confused on that sometimes. You know what I mean? I have a lot on my plate. Christian has a lot on his plate. It's just different. Now, Would I personally say it's a little bit more challenging? Yes, because I have children. That part he can kind of relate
I have
to.
children too,
I was
Bronson.
just gonna say he has two kittens that aren't really kittens anymore. They're freaking huge now.
Yeah.
And they were just tearing up all his shit, and I'm like, oh crap, man, put your kids outside, bro. Now, if he would have told me that, I would have beat his ass. But ultimately, joking aside, yeah, it's just everybody's heart is different, And like I said, I never used to really understand that. I used to get kind of irritated. I'm like, man, but everybody deals with things differently. But back to VP Social, I'm really, really, really happy with the direction it's going. When me and Christian talked about doing one here, I was like, how is this going to happen? How is this going to be? I did compare it to the Newport Social Group. I'm like, man, you got the yachts, you got the mansions. I'm like, oh, but we're going to go everywhere. Like the cool thing about VP Social, we're like he said, we're located in the Central Valley in California. So the cool thing is we're not set to, because I'm in Madera Ranchos, he's in Clovis. We'll have events anywhere. I was born and raised in Fresno my whole life, and then I moved, of course. If you watch our podcast, you know that. But long story short, it's like we can go anywhere with this, and we're planning to definitely going to SoCal this summer for sure. Whether it's Malibu, Newport, somewhere in LA, anywhere, we're gonna definitely hit a spot down there and start growing an audience over there, and develop a good rapport with people down there, which he already has. I mean, my spot's here. I have it locked down here. He has it locked down over there. We bring those together. I mean, the sky's the limit. And then slowly, where it's San Diego, San Francisco, Sacramento. So just take over California with the
That
social
sounds
group.
exciting.
Yeah, take over California. And this is California. If we can do it in California, we can do it anywhere. Literally. Like, California is like, I feel like California, like New York, Florida, like huge, like where the money's at, and where you got liberal people, you're so like California, New York, and Florida. I think more New York, Texas. I love to be in Texas too. I mean, that's more, not liberal. That's they pull their gun out and shoot you. But one of my best friends lives there, and he said he's never moving back. He loves it down there. Has a beautiful home. We were talking like every week, but life happens. But yeah, what I was saying is that we can go anywhere with this. This is a cool thing. We're not bound by like, oh, we got to stay here. We're gonna go take over the Central Valley, SoCal, Northern California, and then hopefully we can get into Vegas. Hopefully we can get into Arizona, go to Scottsdale. You know what I mean? There's a lot of places we do these things at. Sky's the limit. And then persistent, consistent, a little stroke of luck. This is what it is. Timing. That's why I kind of segued into relationship, because timing's everything. In business, relationships, literally, you can have the whole setup, Christian, the whole gambit, right? You have everything, but if you don't have the right time, and it's not a good timing, it doesn't even matter what you have. It's like, why have all this knowledge if you can't give it out to people, right? So it's like, why have all this cool shit and you're good at X, Y, and Z, and you're a good talker and you know how to communicate, or you're wealthy and you don't know even how to invest and you do nothing with that wealth, right? So timing's everything, in my opinion. At least everything I've encountered in my life. Women, business. Women for sure. Meeting Christian. I've said it a few times on this podcast, but it was super random as fuck. It was timing. It was just a stroke of luck. I didn't put myself in that position, right? Like I did because I showed up. What I'm saying is, I'm like, all right, I'm going to meet him at the gym and hopefully something happens. No, it just freaking happens, yo. Like, it just happens. Now it's up to you to capitalize on it, right? And we did for 3 hours. We're talking in his car. Like I've explained on this before in our very first podcast, I think. And so, and look at what has transpired. It's been a year. That is not a long time. This new generation of kids, like definitely born in 2000s up, they think that's a long time. Why don't you try to put in work for 10 years? Whoa, that's just too long. Like, a year's long for them. I mean, look, I've been a dad for almost 15 years. And when I think about that, I'm like, damn, I'm hella cool. I'm like, this is crazy when I think about it. Like, I've been a dad for almost 15 years. I forget I have kids sometimes. Like, joking aside, I wake up, I'm doing my thing, and then all of a sudden, hey, Dad, I love you, Dad. And I'm just like, shit, I'm a fucking dad. You know what I mean? Like my little one come in my room and then, he'll still like chill with me. Like, and then he goes away after 5 seconds because I'm not that cool anymore. But then my oldest, like sometimes the other day, like he just randomly comes, "Hey dad, I love you." I'm like, "All right, I love you too." And then he goes upstairs and I'm thinking, holy shit. Damn, I'm a fucking dad. It's a trip, dude. And then I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna beat your guys' ass in a little bit. But joking aside, so things go like that. And you can't get that time back. And, I hate when people say, look, I shouldn't say I hate, because I do reflecting, right? I'm like, man, it'd be cool to go back to elementary school. It'd be so cool to be chasing bitches or little girls. That's what they said, bitches. It'd be cool to go chasing little girls around and like when being 6 years old and like playing with my lunchbox and having the same damn weak ass burrito my mom would give me with some grapes. My mom gave me the same shit for my whole elementary. Burrito, grapes, and water and pretzels. Every fucking day of my life. I would trade it with some of the white people because I knew they had some mustard and mayonnaise in their sandwiches. I was like, yo, can I switch with you? They're like, hell yeah. And then I'd taste it. I'm like, nah, this shit sucks. And then I'd go back. And it was always, they're like, why is your burrito wet? I was like, because it's soggy from the foil. My mom would wrap it in. Not wet burrito like you'd want a wet burrito because there's wet burritos. This was like, because it was soggy. So I miss going, when I think about it, I miss that. But I wouldn't want to go back to it because I love my life now. A lot of people nowadays want to go back to the life because they're miserable now. That is fucking sad. I want to go back because there's not as much stress. I have good stress now. I don't have bad stress. Maybe if I talk to my mother and my children, it's stressful because you have a baby's mom. But like, joking aside, but other than that, like, it's good stress. Dang, man, how are we going to do this job? Dang, man, we got to go pick up these parts for this job. Dang, man, we got to get this thing ready for the event. Oh, man, this is so bad. It's good stress. Man, I don't have any gas for my Audi. Oh, man, I got to pay for the solar for my 2-story house, the solar on top of it. Like, I didn't get my backyard done, the new house I had to build. My life is not that bad. So I wouldn't want to go back in time. The only part is like, just playing with my friends, not having any worries. That's why I want to go back in time. You know what I mean? Because I miss playing with my friends. We would box with boxing gloves outside, and we would like, it's like the Sandlot. Literally, I'd have like that. I would have like what's the main dude? You remember Sandlot? Yeah, I forgot the main character, but he had like the white tee, the jeans, exactly what I had, and I had like the little baseball shirt, and I'd run, go ride our bikes and play sports with all the people. It would be me and my brother. I'm going on a super tangent, but like it'd be me and my brother, and we'd be playing against the whole neighborhood kids, and we'd beat them all the time, even in street hockey, and we're not even white, and we'd beat them in street hockey. We play basketball, football, we'd always win. I miss stuff like that, but I'm so blessed with my kids now. Cool business partner, businesses that are starting to be something great, and I'm blessed to have. I live in an amazing area. I have such a cool family. I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. So long little thing that I just did right now, but that's the point of a podcast, is to talk.
You got it all over your system.
I ejaculated all my feelings out right now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's interesting to hear about people where they want to go back to. I mean, I guess everyone has nostalgic moments of childhood and stuff, and I didn't really care for my childhood very much.
Oh man, we're like womp womp.
Yeah, yeah. I just feel like the best is just getting started. I mean, some people peak in high school, or they hit their I guess for lack of a better word, their peak in life early on. And I mean, I just feel like I'm just getting freaking started. And
I feel like I'm really sick now.
Yeah, and so anyhow, I
just had some Lunchables, man. I'm ready to go outside with my Squeeze It and go ride my bike.
My Go-Gurt.
Dang, we weren't that rich.
But yeah, no, it's yeah. I prefer to be an adult over being a kid any day.
Man, he just killed the vibe, you guys. I hated my childhood.
No, I didn't hate it. It wasn't.
So tell me why you didn't like it, man. I mean, what was not to like?
Well, I mean, so I really have, I'd say from probably 10 years of age, yeah, but probably 10 years of age to like 15 was not an enjoyable time at all.
Really?
Yeah, it was not an enjoyable.
Why
I mean,
though? I mean, look, we all want to know why it wasn't good. Did your boyfriend break up with you, or like what happened?
the
Yeah, I know. Just tell him with the truth.
so no, I just didn't. I just struggled socially and yeah, academically too. So that was a recipe for a fun time.
Now, what transitioned you to like at 10? Why did you start struggling? You think? What was the
Wha-
big leap of like from 10 to 15? Was like bad though, you know?
well,
Because that's what like fifth grade or something like that.
that's about 10 years of age. That's like fifth grade,
Because T's
fifth, fourth
8
grade.
years old and he's in
Yeah.
third.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he'll be
So
turning
that's
9 this year, presumably.
yeah, in August.
Yep. Okay. So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Just was like an awkward time. Because there's teenage years of awkwardness, you know.
Sure. No, it's kind of funny. Despite having published a book on social capital and having a social group, and I have two podcasts, of course, one with myself and Bronson. I definitely was behind the curve socially. Picking up on things. I think the ADD that I had in full swing then, and that coupled with just kind of being a little too vocal at times, in school, like kind of instigating, invited trouble, and
We want to hear examples.
so yeah,
Give me an example, bro.
of what? Oh, there was a time when this was fifth grade. I went on this. We were going to a wrestling match, and went on the school bus and was just making. I'm trying to put it in words, but was basically saying and doing things that would invariably lead to, pushback, if you will, from a group of kids, and it was just me and them eventually going at it in a verbal altercation, and so I invited a lot of it into my life because I just I just speak my mind. I just do it, and that interestingly enough caused me to kind of retreat into as I got older, and 15, 16, 14, 15, just started retreating more socially, and was pretty lonely actually eighth grade. And I remember actually periods of my life, and it sounds kind of crazy, believe it or not, for those who know me. I remember longing actually for friends and friendship, and just very behind the curve, picking up on things, little cues. They do say some people do. Some people, I guess I just kind of developed. It took me longer to develop and just kind of get stuff down. So
Right.
but yeah, no, I'm always learning. I mean, things aren't like necessarily perfect per se in my life. I mean, I've had a lot of challenges and such, but yeah, no, I prefer being adult to wrap it up. Over
But
the
did you have
pre-18.
fun like from like to up to 10? Do you remember like being like 6, 7 or no?
Yeah,
you don't-
here and there, I think like for a lot of us, like we don't remember everything from those earlier years.
Right.
But
Did you play
yeah,
sports?
I did do sports up until seventh grade. I did half a year. I had whatever it is, half a season of water polo, and then I got pulled out. Yeah,
Beat someone up?
yeah, totally. Yeah, beat the shit out of the whole team. How'd you know?
Whole team of women, you piece of shit. Yeah, well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I mean, we'll segue in some better shit.
No, let's
I had
just
a- I had- I was like,
let's keep it kind of gloomy.
It was-
Let's get
yeah.
help with audience retention.
Yeah, I had a good childhood. My dad used to beat me all the time, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, ultimately, dude, yeah, I mean, Christian's a cool dude. Obviously, I'm business partners with him. There's some things, and want to smack the shit out of him for it, but you know, it's like a brother. Like we have like a really close bond. At least I feel that way. I'm not too
Yeah.
sure. Like
Yeah.
we're really close. Like where he irritates me sometimes. Like bow, but you know I always look out for him, and I know he'll do the same. And we're pretty honest. You know, sometimes when I'm talking, I'll tell you why I want to slap him in the face. Sometimes he'll be like, I'll tell him this whole thing, right? He'll be like, all right, is that it? I'm like, you want fucking more? I'll tell you some fucking more shit. And then all right, let's is that it? I'm gonna pivot now. I'm like, this motherfucker, dude. So, but you got to learn how to engage with the people. That's just how he is, and he knows how I am. So, you know, we got really close, and then, you know, I feel like that's what leads to good relationships for business. You got to be verbal with people. That makes good relationships. If you don't say nothing, man, that's saying nothing is saying something sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to bottle it up. And so Christian knows I'm a straight shooter. So I'm like, yo, this is what it is. If you don't like it, kick rocks then. You know, he knows, like, and I know how he is. And so there's certain things I won't say, and I'll just let it transpire, man, because you know I know how Christian is as a person, and I'll just let it happen, you know, because sometimes we just gotta learn, you know what I mean. And same thing with me. There's some things I shouldn't say. You know, I'm not perfect. I say things that maybe might be too harsh for people. Pussy. So you know, it is what it is, though. But ultimately, to wrap that part up, you know, I'm glad in the position we're going. It's it's only been a year with Vantage Point and with like as a startup, we didn't even get things going until what, beginning of October. So that's been,
Really, this year is when we just started the
oh, for
company,
sure. That's
basically.
when, yeah, this
Yeah.
year is when, like, because man, we there's all this back shit to it, right? We get the licensing, and then you know you got to, just because you've been, like, I've been doing this for a little over 5 years, and I know altogether cumulative is probably like 26 years of shit, right? With Brad and his construct everything, but to work as a team
Enrique.
in Enrique, you know what I mean? Like our guy, this year, yeah, you're right. Like there's a lot of, you know, stuff we had to do in the background. Like for VP Social, no one knows all the stuff we're having to deal with. But that's the point. No one should see that. They should see the best parts, and that's what people saw. Was how great it was. So for you guys out there, if you're in the Central Valley, or even if you're not and you want to attend the events that we have for the VP Social, these little events are mainly for the areas, at least here, for people here. You know, I mean, unless you want to come all the way here, just shoot some golf. But if you're in the Central Valley, Madera, Merced, Bakersfield, Sanger, whatever, you know, when we have these social events, definitely come out. We have our Instagram, VP Social. And then when we do our quarterly events, I think anybody should come. If you're an entrepreneur, mingle. Yes, you can give business cards, but we don't want to make it like that, where here's a name tag and what do you do? But ultimately, when I went to the Newport Social Group, that's what happens. Introduce myself. Hey, man, I went by myself. So, like, I would talk to these people. What do you do? Oh, I do X, Y, and Z. Awesome, man. And then you exchange numbers or social media handles, and then you talk. And then, you know, I still keep in contact with some of these people that I met. This year would be what, 3 years? 2022. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow.
So that was in December of 2022. So it'd be 3 years that I met some of these people, right? So that's the cool thing. You establish relationships with people. Doesn't mean anything's gonna take off right then and there, but I think it's awesome. And so if you guys go check it out, we have an event. Come, we'd love to see you guys. I think it'd be great if you're an entrepreneur. Or if, like, you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer. I mean, you don't have to own the practice or anything, but just come. I think it'd be great.
Absolutely. We're excited to, be rolling out some of these events here this year, and we are just getting started.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, in closing,
Yeah.
you know, I've said it before, you know, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but I know it's like anything else. You know, and to make money, you got to spend money, and you got to put in the time. And I know that this is all going to come to a great, you know, the end spot for us. We're like, yo, all that work finally paid off, you know, and it's slowly paying off. We're meeting great people. Like, shout outs to Kristen, our business partner. Shout out to Tiffany, our event coordinator, and
Yep.
Josh, our our
Media.
media dude. Super awesome guy. awesome, dude. We're really blessed to have a cool little team that's transpiring from this. And that's not because we sat on our ass and was just thinking about it. If you guys don't put your thoughts and your dreams that you're daydreaming about into motion, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. You can talk to everybody about what you're going to do. Well, just shut the fuck up. Don't talk about it. Just do it. Take off. And people will see your success. You don't have to talk about it. Just they'll see it. So, but in closing, yeah, like if there's anything you guys want to see, please reach out to us. DM us, text us if you have our number. Go to our Bronson and Christian Talk. Give us a follow. And then, if you guys have any questions, just let us know. But we'll be seeing you guys soon. Definitely reach out. You guys have a good evening, and we'll see you guys.
We'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.